Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think he could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Sports are all about teamwork, and so is insurance. Whether you need an in-person or digital assist, State Farm is there to help you choose the right coverage for your home, car, and more. Get a game plan that helps fit your life and talk to State Farm today. State Farm with the assist. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability and eligibility vary by state.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings,
Why are you listening to this show?
the podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
So how'd you like that local hour? Pretty crazy, right? To hear all that, to just hear that conversation between Dan and Stugotz and Donald Trump. Yeah, it only gets crazier, guys. But surely in the rest of that interview from 2013, there's no way that Dan and Stu would get to like the bottom of Trump's relationship with Jon Stewart or like talk about, I don't know, like Obama's birth certificate and birtherism, right? Like there's no, right? Right? No? Please?
What's up, guys? Tony here, and I wanted to talk about something super important, and that's how I keep my home protected. Obviously, you guys know I have a little one back at home. My wife is there with her, and I get tremendous peace of mind knowing that the moment I leave for work, that my home, my property, my family is protected, not just reactively, but proactively by Simply Safe. They are the number one for home security on the planet, on the market. There's nobody better than Simply Safe. I got the cameras going on. I got indoor cameras. I got outdoor cameras. I'm looking all over the place. Most security systems only take action after somebody breaks in, but you and I know that's too late, especially when you have a little one at home and when you have your wife at home and the big dog's not there, right? Simply Safe's new Active Guard outdoor protection helps stop break-ins before they happen. AI-powered cameras, live monitoring agents detect suspicious activity around the property. If somebody's lurking, agents talk to them in real time, turn on spotlights, and can call the police, proactively deterring crime before it starts. Everything's on the app. I want to see the cameras. Boom. I see who's walking their dog a little too close to my yard, maybe leaving some dog residue close to my yard. I can go on the microphone and say, buddy, clean up after your dog. Over 4 million Americans trust Simply Safe, and so do I. Simply Safe is offering Le Batard Show listeners 50% off a new system with professional monitoring. Plus, your first month is free. Visit simplysafe.com/DLB to claim this offer. That's simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Jeremy, you know something about me, right? You know when I'm grilling outside and it's summertime, you know how I supplement my summertime?
Of course I do.
I make it Miller time.
Of course.
That beautiful white can. Oh, when it's so hot outside, I just put it right to my forehead, right there. And I just roll it sometimes, right on the forehead, cool my body down, and then I crack it open, instant relief, and then that first sip, brother, does that first sip?
That is a top 5 sequence of events that you can possibly go through.
I'm just serenity now when I just imagine that first sip of Miller Lite.
Just thinking about it's making me happy.
Dude, the sun is out, it's nice, you have your friends showing up. You got your family there. You just had your first sip of Miller Lite. And you know what? You're happy. You're blissful. You're fulfilled. I've been stocking my cooler with Miller Lite for 4 years, and for good reason. It's brewed for taste. Only 96 calories and 3.2 grams of carbs. This year, Miller Lite turns 50. That's 5 decades of cookouts, laughs, and ice-cold moments that never miss. It's the original light beer, and it's still my go-to. Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Cheers to 50 years of Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Folks, nothing says summer like long days, clutch plays, and firing off a few bets on the game, all with DraftKings Sportsbook. Never bet baseball before? Hey, it's easy. Pick a guy to go yard, hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride with your squad and hope for the best. No spreadsheets, just vibes and dingers. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers. Bet $5 and get 150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code DAN. That's code DAN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
You're obviously a big sports fan. Donald Trump with us here on ESPN Radio. Do you have a desire to own a sports team?
Not really. I mean, I have so many friends, Bob Kraft and the Tishes and everybody, and they do a great job, and they're, just great friends of mine. And, it's a tough business, like Bob last night with the play. I don't know, good play, bad play, but, that's such a crushing, it's such a crushing thing to have a game end like that. And I think the general consensus, could you explain, the general consensus is that the referee made a good call or a bad call?
It was a bad call. People are looking at it as a bad call. I would love for you to be an owner, though, because you'd be so meddlesome. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You'd be.
I would be totally meddlesome. Oh. And every time you said something bad about me, that I made a bad move, I'd call you. And
I know. You would be a disaster.
I would be a total disaster. I'd even be a disaster for you, although you guys would like it.
Yeah, you'd be so much worse.
Good for you, actually,
you'd be so much worse than Jerry Jones. So much worse. You'd be firing.
I know Jerry Jones. He's done it. He doesn't get proper credit. I think he's won 3 Super Bowls, and I know it was a little while ago, but most people haven't won any. So, Jerry, I'm not sure that Jerry gets the proper credit. I think he's done a great job.
But how many coaches? How often?
And his stadium, by the way, his stadium is incredible.
Of course. How often would you fire coaches? You would be a crazy owner. You'd call plays like you'd be a nightmare.
You'd coach.
Well, as you know, George Steinbrenner was a very good friend of mine, and I'd sit at many games with George. And when you talk about a wild owner, I used to tell my wife, I'd get home, I'd say, when you sit with George through a Yankee game, you're exhausted by the end of the game. But he was a great owner. Say what you want, or the championships and the whole thing. He was a great owner, and he really put the money on the line. And he was really a good guy. He was a very loyal person. He was tough and he was nasty in some cases, but he was a very loyal. He'll take somebody that was down and out, a player that blew it, that lost them, and he'd give them jobs a lot of times. I've seen him do that a lot of times. So, I know so many of the owners, so many different personalities, but I have a lot of fun with it. I think I like just sort of doing what I do and going with them to the games and watching. It's a tough world out there. And actually, other than the NFL, which is quite profitable, I would say, it's not easy. It's not easy to do.
Donald Trump with us on ESPN Radio. Give me a time you've been in a boardroom or in a room and you've looked across and you've said, that guy's got a bigger ego than I do.
Well, ego is important, and I would say, hey, I've been there. I sit with the titans of industry, and I see guys with tremendous egos, but you have to keep the ego in check.
Bigger than you,
Although
Donald.
I will say this,
Give me a name.
I've never seen somebody, and I literally mean this, I've never seen somebody that's successful that didn't have a big ego. You have to have a big ego to be successful.
Give me a name. Somebody with a bigger ego than Trump. Give me a name.
Wow, that's well. I think Steinbrenner would have been a name. Steinbrenner would have been. He's past tense, but he would have been a name. George had a big ego, but a positive ego.
Who are you feuding with these days? Who's on the top of the list? Is it Jon Stewart?
Jon Stewart will hit me every once in a while, but I like Jon Stewart. I've always liked Jon Stewart, actually, but he hit me. They did the Comedy Central roast of me. Jon was, Jon hits me because it's different politics, but I like him and I respect him. David Letterman, I did his show the other night. He hits me a little bit, but we have a lot of fun on the show. Now, generally speaking, even people that go after you, some of them I like, and not all of them, of course, but some of them I like.
We're going to let you go on this. That birth certificate fiasco with the president, that was just a nightmare, right? We'd do that differently if we had to go back and do that over?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think it was, there's a large group of people out there that would like to see what's going on. And look, right now, I will say this country has bigger problems. Well, we have a healthcare thing that's in total shambles, and you can't get a website after spending $1 billion. I mean, we have some very big problems. But no, I don't consider that at all. There's so many people. I walk down the street, and people are screaming, keep it going, keep it going. They love it. Now, maybe they like it for entertainment, and maybe they like it because they believe it. But that is it was a very, very serious subject, and there are a lot of people out there that agree. So, again, no regrets whatsoever. I just think that I'm on to other things, and the other things are trying to help this country to do something. If you look at Russia, if you look at China, if you look at India, if you look at so many places that are just doing so well, and then you look at what's happening in this country, we've got some very, very big problems. And they're problems that can be straightened out because the country has such tremendous potential.
On that note, can you fire my co-host on your way out the door, Stugotz? I know everyone requests this of you everywhere you go. Just fire Stugotz. Tell him he's fired.
Well, Stugotz, you are absolutely fired. You don't have it. There's no question about it. As a team, you're phenomenal, but individually, you're fired.
Yeah. Thank you, Donald. Good talking to you.
Fellas,
Thank you for making time for us.
You have a great show, too, and I really like it.
Thank you, sir.
Don.
Have fun.
Jeremy, you know something about me, right? You know when I'm grilling outside and it's summertime, you know how I supplement my summertime?
Of course I do.
I make it Miller time.
Of course.
That beautiful white can. Oh, when it's so hot outside, I just put it right to my forehead, right there. And I just roll it sometimes, right on the forehead, cool my body down, and then I crack it open, instant relief, and then that first sip, brother, does that first sip?
That is a top 5 sequence of events that you can possibly go through.
I'm just serenity now when I just imagine that first sip of Miller Lite.
Just thinking about it's making me happy.
Dude, the sun is out. It's nice. You have your friends showing up. You got your family there. You just had your first sip of Miller Lite. And you know what? You're happy. You're blissful. You're fulfilled. I've been stocking my cooler with Miller Lite for years, and for good reason. It's brewed for taste. Only 96 calories and 3.2 grams of carbs. This year, Miller Lite turns 50. That is 5 decades of cookouts, laughs, and ice-cold moments that never miss. It's the original light beer, and it's still my go-to. Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Cheers to 50 years of Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.